Marina Warner nails the problem. The supernatural is difficult terrain. Of its very nature, it resists discourse. Or, to put it more accurately, it is always in the process of being described, conjured, made, and made up, without ascertainable outside reference. Witchcraft hovers, invisible yet powerful and persistent. I teach history in a university, where I run a course on witchcraft in early modern Europe, between 1450 and 1750, when the idea of witchcraft was put frighteningly into practice. I've been studying the subject for 20 years and have written 4 books, including this one. I've learned that witches resist simplification and are as diverse and complicated as the contexts to which they belong. Economy, politics, religion, family, community, and mentality. Sometimes I get a funny look when I tell people about my specialty, as if I were a priest to a satanic coven. I'm not. I'm a historian, and for me, witchcraft offers a glimpse into the intimate spaces and intricate mechanisms of past lives. Anthropologists studying tribal societies are interested in witches for the same reason. They have a word for the no man's land between binary oppositions. The liminal, a gray area inhabited by things and people that don't fit obvious categories. I became properly interested in witchcraft while a student, but, like most, had acquired some knowledge in childhood. Witches wore pointed hats and flew on broomsticks with cats perched on the end. They lived alone in tumble-down cottages, their warty faces illuminated by fires beneath bubbling cauldrons. This was an image reinforced at Halloween. The witch as monster, as other, as scapegoat. But there was always a puzzling ambiguity, or liminality, to witchcraft. One Christmas, I was given a board game called Haunted House, in which cardboard walls slotted into a base and players moved from room to room menaced by witches. One was called Ghoulish Gertie, who dropped a whammy ball down the chimney. Another, Wanda the Wicked. She turned you into a mouse. But there was a third witch called Glenda the Good, who reversed Wanda's spells. If witches could be good as well as bad, what made them witches? This paradox is important. Objective definitions of witchcraft are unsatisfactory because its real meaning derives from relationships, shared experiences, and individual feelings. It is subjectively constituted, and consequently, witches are far from homogeneous in type. Back to the dictionary for an illustration. Under witch, we find an ugly, repulsive, or malevolent, usually old woman, a hag. In other words, Ghoulish Gertie. But an alternative definition follows. A fascinating, bewitching girl or young woman. Which is it to be? Repulsive or fascinating? Young or old? Perhaps all these things. And therein lies the variety and ambiguity that we need to capture. Meanings of witchcraft are so varied because the concept is so versatile. Wicca is a recognized religion whose adherents call themselves witches. Children's fiction, horror films, and newspaper cartoons all make use of witches, drawing on shared ideas and imagery. Witch hunt commonly describes even modest antagonisms and injustices, and witch remains an insult directed at women. Witchcraft is culturally durable, relevant, and potent, hardwired into us all, even those who have consigned it to history's dustbin with other relics of primitivism. Witches are special. Cathars, Lollards, and Quakers were all persecuted, but it's hard to imagine a board game about them. Why? Because they existed solidly and exclusively in the natural world, without much mystery. Witches, however, bother the subconscious. This is why we like them, hate them, can't do without them. This is why, in mint condition, a haunted house set from the early 1970s, U.S. type.